Hi, my name is Matt Elliott, and I'm a technical marketing engineer for Rubrik. In this video, we will walk through configuring Polaris account creation via Slack. Before beginning, you'll need to ensure that you have access to Slack, Rubrik Polaris, and AWS, including proper IAM permissions. And you'll need to have the AWS CLI tool installed and configured. This process will require some copying and pasting, so it will be helpful if you review the Quick Start guide to understand where everything is located. We'll start by adding a new Slack app. This is done in the Your Apps section in the Slack API configuration. Click Create New App, enter an app name, and choose your Slack workspace, and click Create App. Take a look at your app settings, and set a description, color, and app icon if desired. Next, we will configure several components in Amazon AWS. The first is Identity and Access Management. We will add two new policies, which, along with an AWS provided policy, will be used to create a new role. Copy and paste the policies provided in the Quick Start guide to create the new IAM policies, then create the new role. These policies will allow AWS Lambda the permissions it will need to access other AWS services. Create a new role, specifying Lambda as the service for the role. Search for the AWS Lambda Basic Execution Role policy and click the checkbox beside it. Then repeat the process for the policies you just created. Review the settings for the new role and click Create Role. Now configure AWS Key Management Service. Create a new customer managed key, selecting administrators along with the IAM role you just created. Save the key ID in a text editor. You will use it to encrypt some values in a moment. Back in Slack, copy the verification token for your app and save it in your text editor. Now you will use the AWS CLI tool to encrypt the verification token. The CLI tool will take the verification token as an argument and return the encrypted value. Copy the encrypted value and paste it into your text editor. You will need this value when configuring AWS Lambda. Repeat this process for your Polaris password, although I have skipped that step in this video for obvious reasons. Browse back to your AWS console and open Amazon Simple Notification Service and create a new topic. Once complete, copy the ARN displayed beside the newly created topic and paste it into your text editor. The ARN will be needed to configure AWS Lambda. Now we will configure two separate functions in AWS Lambda. If you're not already familiar with Lambda, it provides a way to run code without worrying about setting up a server. You will need to copy some code out of the Polaris Slack use case repo on GitHub, so have that available. Within the AWS console, browse to Lambda and within functions, click Create Function. Set the parameters based on the values specified in the Quick Start guide and click Create Function. Next, you will paste the Slack response code into the code editor and click Save. Scroll down and create environment variables as described in the Quick Start. Once finished, go ahead and click Save. Now look under the Add Triggers section and click API Gateway. Configure the new API Gateway and click Save. Copy the displayed API endpoint URL to your text editor. Go back to the Functions page and create another new function. Follow the same process to paste in the worker function code. Under Add Triggers, click SNS. Select the SNS topic you created, then click Add and Save. Lambda configuration is now complete. Return to the configuration page for your Slack app and create a new / command. Use the API endpoint from Lambda as the request URL. Install the app to your Slack workspace and authorize it. Your application is ready to use. Simply type /Polaris followed by the email address of the user you'd like to add to Polaris. Keep in mind that the email address must match the email domain specified in the Lambda environment variables. Thanks for watching. Feel free to open an issue in our GitHub repo if you have any feedback.